2.2b, fractions to decimals. The definition of fractions and decimals are the same, as you may have noticed. This just means that they are different ways of expressing a part of the whole. They're the same exact thing, just writing them in different notation. To convert from fractions to decimals, so fractions to decimals, use long division. That's all we have to do. So if we treat fractions as division, which it looks like they are, then we end up getting our answer being in decimal form. So let's try this out. Let's look at an example. Convert 1/8 of a foot to a decimal. So 1 is the numerator, and it's what goes under the long division sign because it's being divided by 8, because 8 is the denominator. So if we look at it like division, it's 1 divided by 8, right? So 8 can't go into 1, so we have to express 1 as a decimal. But when we divide decimals, now we have to move our decimal place over by 1 if we're going to consider this. So 8 goes into 1, or 10 now, 0.1 times. 0.1 times 8 is 0.8. We subtract this, we end up with 0.2. 0.2 we add a 0 onto, and we have to move to this decimal place now we're considering. 8 goes into 20 2 times, right? And that turns into 0.16. And we're left with 4.040. 8 goes into 0.040 5 times, goes into 45 times, right? And we end up getting nothing. So 1 over 8 actually is equal to 0.125. feet. You can see that writing it as 1/8 of a foot is a little more clean, and that's why you see many measurements in fraction form. Convert 2 over 9 centimeters to a decimal. Now this is going to be a little trickier, and we'll see why once we start doing the long division. So like before, the numerator on top goes under the long division sign, and the 9 goes on the outside, right? Because the 9 is doing the dividing. So 9 can't go into 2, so we have to consider the decimal place. We move it over. 9 goes into 20. How many times? 9 goes into 22 times, right? And we're left with 1.8. 0.2 times 9 is 1.8. And this results in 0.2. Well, 9 goes into 20 2 times, 0.18 down here. And we're left with 0.02. But wait, we're just getting 2 again. Let's try it one more time just to make sure. 9 goes into 0.02, 0.0002 times, and this leaves 0.018, and this leaves 0.002. Well, we keep getting 0.2, or 0.002, and then 0.0002, and so on. These 2's on top will never stop ending. We'll always get more 2's. So this is what we call a repeating decimal. It continues forever. So we can write a repeating decimal like 0.2222 ... going on forever. We can write that as 0.2 with a bar on top of it. So 2 over 9 equals 0.2 bar on top of it. And since we were both measuring, this was in centimeters, this is also in centimeters. This is another good reason why we measure in fractions a lot of the time, because you can get decimals that repeat forever, and we could never write down the exact amount. Whereas a fraction, all we had to write was 2 over 9, and we encapsulated that measurement. But we can't write 2's forever, so there would always be some error associated with it if we worked with decimals. This is why a lot of measurements are in fractions.